System. Our guest host this morning, the former Secretary of Commerce, Carlos Gutierrez, a native of Cuba, and of course his resurrection of Kellogg is industrial history. Mr. Secretary, good morning.
Pleasure. Thank you.
You wrote this letter with a lot of other support. Julian Robertson, David Harrow of Harris Associates as well. You speak of a broken system. Why is the immigration system broken?
Well, you know, our legal system doesn't work, which is one of the big reasons why we have a lot of illegal immigration. And it's the part of the system few people talk about. We talk about border security. We talk about what to do with the ultimately undocumented. But unless we fix the legal system, we're always going to have a dysfunctional system. I'm concerned that even the Senate bill is too low.
And Tom, I just want to point out, though, this letter that you're reading, it was published overnight by you, and you had a lot of co-signers.
Today, it's a way of telling Republican members of the House there are a lot of very important Republicans who want immigration.
But this is critical, Mr. Secretary. You are speaking to whom? Not John Boehner, are you?
Well, we're speaking to everyone in the House. This is the House's turn now, and after the House, they've got to go to conference with the Senate. So eventually we're speaking to the whole, to both houses. We're speaking to the president. We're speaking to, but primarily members of our own party, people who we believe should understand that this is an economic imperative. This is not a political issue.
Let's look at the quote I liked, and then Sarah's got a great quote as well. This is the letter from 100 donors, business tycoons, Mr. Evans on here, another former Commerce Secretary. Standing in the way of reform ensures that we perpetuate a broken system. It stifles our economy, and also, of course, the risk of perception that Republicans would rather see nothing. That's a debate that's out there within the party.
But you are no stranger, Mr. Secretary, to the politics at play here.
Right.
Yes, the Republicans would love to court the Latino and immigration vote, but the truth is a lot of them come from districts that are mostly white, and they don't have to answer to those constituencies.
That's very true. What we should realize is that this is good for the country. It's good for the economy. It's a necessity for the economy. Anecdotally, I talked to a restaurant owner the other day. He said, look, I own 3 restaurants. If I had more workers, I would own 8. And then I would employ more U.S. citizens. You talk to people in ag. If I had more workers, I would be able to plant more. Then I'd be able to have more distribution centers, more U.S. citizens, and I would even export. We don't have enough workers.
How do you respond to conservatives, either Democrats or typically Republicans, that say, Carlos Gutierrez, your heritage is fine, your exceptional success is fine, but this is a different America now than when you were snuck over the border of Mexico as a Cuban immigrant. They say it's all fine and well, but it's not 1950.
I snuck in on a canoe. Nothing has changed over the last 240 years. This is still the U.S.
And the conditions are the same right now as when you were stuck over the border.
Exactly the same. Immigrants are what add the energy and the vitality and the competition to our economy. It's always been that way, and it's that way now.
Then why are we so afraid of them?
Well, I think the word afraid is a very good point. There's a little bit of xenophobia. There's a little bit of, we don't know these people. Who are they? We shouldn't be afraid. We have been assimilating immigrants since we became a nation. We know how to do this. And if we get this right, what an advantage we'll have versus the rest of the world. Think about Japan and Russia and others.
So shouldn't the president be sticking to this line, that what you're saying? Why is he out at an Amazon warehouse touting jobs and the middle class and talking about budget fights and looming compromises with Republicans? Well, shouldn't he be sticking to immigration?
I mean, I think that's a great point, because immigration is probably his only big economic idea. The rest was just another stimulus. I mean, it's just very one-dimensional. But yes, everyone should be understanding that this is economic. Without this, we can't grow.
What does John Boehner need to do? Would you suggest he needs to bring in House Democrats and perhaps sacrifice his speakership? What would you advise the speaker right now as he tries to get this started?
I think he's managed it extremely well. I think he understands that members have their challenges, but he's looking for a majority of Republicans. That continues to be his focus. The month of August is very key, because they go back home and they go to town hall meetings and they hear from the extreme hardliners, the anti-immigration sort of,
Oh, stop. They're the anti-Carlos Gutierrez.
Well, look, I would say people who think this is a political issue when it's actually an economic issue.
Okay, well, we have more with Carlos Gutierrez here after a letter this morning from 100 top Republicans. We have some breaking M&A news.